आज के इस पॉडकास्ट के हमारे गेस्ट हैं आकाश। आकाश फोर्थ ईयर इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट हैं एंड कॉलेज के बाद मास्टर्स करने का प्लान कर रहे हैं। तो आज के इस पॉडकास्ट में हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि कॉलेज के बाद हमारे पास क्या क्या कैरियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हो सकती है, हमें कौन सी कैरियर अपॉर्चुनिटी परस्यू करनी चाहिए। तो इस पॉडकास्ट को एंड तक देखिए एंड एंजॉय द हर्ष पांडे शो। आकाश, इंजीनियरिंग के बाद किसी भी बंदे या बंदी के पास क्या कैरियर ऑप्शंस बन सकते हैं?
देखो, बीटेक करियर के बाद देयर आर अप्रोक्सीमेटली 4 ऑप्शन जो आपके हो सकते हैं. फर्स्ट ऑप्शन वुड बी गेटिंग इनटू प्लेसमेंट्स. ऑब्वियसली you want to answer, so at the age of 22 you would get into placements and start earning. दूसरा ऑप्शन बन सकता है एमटेक का. Maybe you do it after once of your BTech 4 years, you can complete your 2 years of MTech and then after obviously get into a job. Third option would be MS. Go to an abroad country again, do your 2 years of MS and come back to India and then start earning over again. Or you can maybe start earning in the same country as well. And the fourth option would be India. You can go for managerial type roles in the technical field as well. Maybe you can be your team lead or manager level and stuff like that. And the fourth option and the fifth option would be obviously like the startups that's being booming out really fast, and as well as YouTube or podcasts, which is making people to earn millions, even posting reels in Instagram as well, some motivational type videos. That's also people earning a lot of really in lakhs and crores. People are becoming famous even over a night. So I guess these five would be a fantastic career option once after the BTech life.
आकाश, तू अपने लिए क्या चूज कर रहा है कैरियर ऑप्शन कि कॉलेज के बाद तू क्या करेगा?
My career option would be going for an MS because once after my 12th grade, my fixed था for sure क्योंकि मुझे life में stability चाहिए. So that's the reason I'm going for an MS and planning on doing my masters in specialization AI and ML as well. So I'm planning to go for USA or Singapore क्योंकि ये दोनों थोड़ा बहुत developed states in place of computer science. Specifically in AI and ML when it's concerned, Singapore and US are the top notch colleges where you can go and get yourself graduated.
So you are planning to do MS in AI?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Why you choose AI?
Because I feel in the coming of future now, the ChatGPT, which is completely built on deep learning and AI-based, concepts. So I feel in the coming of next future, even Tesla let it up for a chance. That's also built on deep learning and AI-based network, which analyzes the network, the surroundings, and it moves around. So it's, I guess, in the coming of future, AI is gonna be the thing of the whole world. It's gonna be the thing of the decade. That's the reason I want to pursue my MSc.
आकाश, MS और MTech में क्या डिफरेंस है?
So MS would be something you would be going outside India and pursuing it there. MTech, which is within India. But the major difference would be when you're comparing it within India, MTech, your community is within India only. You don't get an exposure with different talents, different mindsets, different innovators around the world. But when you go for an MS, which is you're going for an outside country, where a lot of people from around the world are gonna come and you're gonna interact with them and you're gonna share your ideas and you're gonna get their ideas, knowledge, valuable feedbacks from your many research scholars out there. You're going to get a lot of exposure obviously when you're going to meet different people from different communities. So that's the reason I'm going for MS.
So अगर कोई भी बंदा डिसाइड करता है उसको MS करना है, इंडिया के बाहर से MS करना है, तो उसकी पूरी प्रोसीजर क्या होती है? उसको क्या क्या कॉलेज लाइफ में करना पड़ेगा ताकि वो एक अच्छे कॉलेज में बाहर MS कर पाए?
Right. Great question. Like Bella, dekho, with BTech is completely of 4 years. What I did according to me was first year I completely analyzed the whole college, what can be done, what are the research facilities that's available, under whom can we do the research and all. And starting from the second year, I started my research papers. Most importantly, for getting into some top-notch colleges on MS space specifically, if you want to get into good colleges, you need to have journals published really into well-published journals and as well as patents if possible, and as well as some sort of conferences. You have to go and attend some conferences, and also book chapters also would help. So things like this, apart from your CGPAs or apart from your college life, your college curriculum, what extra are you doing? That's what all the colleges back in USA or Singapore, other countries would look forward for. What do you have in your resume? What you've done in the complete 4 years? So according to me, in my life, the first year I completely enjoyed getting to know about all the faculties and the resources and the facilities that's available at VIT. Starting from the second year onwards, I focused completely on my research works. I sort of, my academics, I put it almost equally. I dedicated equal time to both of them because for me, I was sure that after my fourth year, I'm going for an MS, no doubt on that. So yeah, from the second year onwards, I was under a faculty completely. Even till today, she's guiding me. I've been publishing approximately a research paper and a patent. We're going on. It's a journey. Even in the fourth year, you might get it published as well. So that's why if you have a proper ideology in the first year itself, or the second year max to max, that I have to go for an MS or I have to go for a placement, then your ideology should be fixed. If you're going for MS, it's completely based on research papers and all that stuff. And if it is completely maybe for placements, you'll have to go for DSA, sort of problems like that, and coding every single day, learning of different languages, different sort of technologies that's happening in and around the college and the placements. All the things is that's something important which you can focus on.
तूने बहुत सारे रिसर्च पेपर और पेटेंट भी फाइल किया है,
Yes,
तो
exactly.
उसके बारे में भी थोड़ा बता
Sure.
कि
So-
एंड वन मोर थिंग, एक चीज और बताना कि इनकी इम्पोर्टेंस क्या होती है एमएस के लिए, एक अच्छा कॉलेज मिलने के लिए.
Right. So talking about my research paper in the second year, since I didn't have a lot of knowledge, but yeah, my faculty trusted on me. She gave me a research paper on deep learning basis. It's also something you could say something related to AI as well. So my task was actually to build a model which would help in classifying plants, healthy ones and unhealthy ones. It took me actually a lot of time, approx 6 months to 7 months, just to analyze the problem and build a proper model to distinguish between both of them. But it was a great experience because mom was continuously supporting me with all the resources that I require and all the things that I always required. She was there every single time whenever I needed her. And yeah, at the end of the day, yes, after 1 year, the project I took was around October 2022, and we published the paper around September 23. It was almost a 1 year long process because it was my first paper. I was obviously it's new to me that all that writing and publishing all the thing was really new, so it took me a really lot of time. So it was fine, and after that, the main importance of a research paper is when you put it into your SOP, the college that you're going to, they will analyze that this person has good knowledge. As publishing a research paper is not an easy task because you need to be as detailed as possible about what you have done, and you have to put it into a paper. All the things that's running in your mind, you have to put it into a paper. And that's what a research-based institute or all the institutes abroad would look for. They would look for a person who will help their institute to grow. They won't look for the big person just to come randomly, learn and just go back. They would want that person to have a good impact on their institute as well, not only for his personal growth, also for the institute growth. So that's why a research paper or a patent-based, things would help you fetch a good, a seat into a good college abroad.
And patent?
Patent, yes. Patent would give. Okay, so how do you? I mean, when you're filing a patent, it basically means that you're able to think something innovative, right?
पहले पेटेंट के बारे में बता दे, पेटेंट होता क्या है, कितने तरह के
Okay,
पेटेंट
so
होते हैं,
basically,
तूने कौन सा पेटेंट फाइल किया था, तो पहले पेटेंट की बेसिक डिटेल बता दे, उसके बाद अपने पेटेंट के बारे में डिटेल में बता दे.
so basically, there are two types of patents as far as I know. One is a design patent and one is a product type patent. I have personally filed a design type patent under a faculty. So this patent was basically about a robot analyzing the concrete cracks inside pipelines. Generally, it's not very easy for a human to go inside a pipeline and check out for the cracks because it's physically not possible for a human like me or anybody else to go into a small hole. But where else you can send a robot inside and it can capture the images and it can classify. So that was the ideology behind this. So what we have done is we built a robot which can take the pictures and analyze whether there is a crack or there is not a crack. That is what was our patent about, and we filed it. It took almost like 3 to 4 months once after we completed the project and to file the patent. Yeah, but it was finally we got the patent done. It was in the recent 2 to 3 months ago that I got my patent. That's about the patent journey.
जब हम एमएस करने का प्लान करते हैं या हम कोई भी डिग्री बाहर से करने का प्लान करते हैं, तो हमारे सामने एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम आती है फाइनेंसेस की. तो तू कैसे प्लान कर रहा है फाइनेंस बाहर जाने के लिए? ऑब्वियसली खर्चा बहुत ज्यादा आता है, और ऑप्शन क्या क्या हो सकते हैं कि बंदा कैसे अपना खर्चा उठा सकता है बाहर रहने का, खाने का?
तो दो ऑप्शंस बन सकता है. इफ यू आर रिच इनफ, योर फादर कैन अफोर्ड इट फॉर श्योर, वो तो है बात. दूसरी बात ये होगा कि taking a loan. There's two types of loans. One loan where you have to keep a collateral, meaning you have to put a property on for assurance, obviously. And the other one would be taking it in terms of a bit higher interest. So if you're aiming for an abroad-based college, maybe in USA or Singapore, it easily costs you around 40 to 50 lakhs. Apart, the tuition fees itself would cost you maybe around 40 to 45 lakhs around. There's like tuition fees, books fees, etc., that library fees, etc., etc., etc. It comes around 45 lakhs. And apart from that, your living cost for complete 2 years, your insurances, your travel, etc., would again, add up to like 15 to 20 lakhs easily. So at the end of the day, if you're looking for somewhere medium MS program, and you would get around 70 to 80 lakhs without financial aid. So
per year?
No, for the complete 2 years. For the complete 2 years, because Per year, if you're focusing on per year, the tuition fees approximately would be around 20 lakhs for sure. There's nothing less than that if you want to get into some decent college. 20 lakhs is a minimum fee that you have to pay. You have to pay, and apart from that, the 10 lakhs obviously for the living costs, interesting, your insurances. There's a lot of process that happens in and out. So that is something. So per year, if you're focusing maybe around 30 to 35 lakhs is what you'll be looking for. Even for a place like Texas itself, which is like probably the mediocre state where you can live and earn decently and spend decently. But if you go for California, it's even more, like maybe 40, 50 lakhs per year itself. Since I am not into the rich state, I'm coming from the middle one. So I'm planning on taking my MS in the Texas, UT Austin specifically, because computer science program, as I mentioned, is pretty good there, since it's a decent institute, as well as you get some financial aid as well if you are into a merit-based scholarship, and you get some good score in your GRE and your CGPA is good, and as I mentioned, your BTEC and research paper would add a good value to your SOP. They would see, okay, so if this person has published a research paper, that basically means he would also be helpful for our university to publish more research papers and patents as well. So that would be their first thought. They would immediately try, okay, so if this person has a high probability, they'll immediately pull you into their college. That would be something that they would be looking for. So according to me, 60 to 70 lakhs is something that you need to have in your hand for sure if you're going for an MS-based program into a decent college. 70 to 80 is something that you need to aim for. And yeah, according to me, there's SBI who's offering approximately 9.6% interest for 1.4 CRS is what they're offering.
So you are taking the loan, or
no, I am going for the loan for sure, because I want to, there's one thing that if you take as a student, if you take loan, there's one thing that you would learn, that you will have financial pressure. You can't escape from that. If you all of a sudden plan on, let me just quit MS, let me just go back to my home country, but something that will be, keep on targeting you is your loan.
बट तेरे को ये नहीं लगता कि हमारे अंदर कुछ ज्यादा ही प्रेशर डेवलप हो जाता है कि हम फिर बाद में मान ले हमारा कुछ और प्लान बनता है, हम हो सकता है कि हम जो अभी कर रहे हो, हमने जिस चीज के लिए लोन लिया हो वो हमारे लिए गलत हो, और जो हम उस टाइम पे सोच रहे हो, हमने एक्सप्लोर कर दिया हो कि मेरे को यही करना है, लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए यही करना है, बट फिर हम उस चीज को कर ही नहीं पाएंगे. सो लोन प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो सकता.
देखो, देन वो आपका प्रॉब्लम होगा ना, बिकॉज लुक, अगर आप जब एमएस पे स्टेप कर रहे हो, इट बेसिकली मींस यू वांट टू डिग इन डीप विद इन अ सब्जेक्ट. तो ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए कि आप, हो सकता है बंदे को हो सकता है कि एक साल के बाद you might tend to drop out from that place, and maybe you can maybe shift into some other different type of aspects, maybe MBA or doing something like that. But at the end of the day, you have to pay your loans. If you're going with no collateral, which is basically no property assurances, then for sure you have to pay either from your pocket or from your dad's pocket. But if you're going with collateral, it's automatically, if you are not able to repay back their interest or their amount back, then just deposit your property on which you have given assurance to them. Then just deposit the property into their bank and you lose your property. That's how it's pressure going on.
मैंने बहुत सारे लोगों को देखा है कि वो पहले जॉब करते हैं, उसके बाद एमएस करने जाते हैं. तो तूने तुरंत क्यों डिसाइड किया कि मैं इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज से निकलने के डायरेक्टली बाद एमएस करूंगा फिर जॉब लूंगा?
देखो, बच्चे जब होते हैं ना, इफ यू ग्रेजुएटिंग, ओके लेट्स इमेजिन यू आर द फर्स्ट ईयर, 1-2 महीने का आपको छुट्टी हो जाता है, यू आर कमिंग बैक मे बी द सेकंड ईयर. आपको लगता है कि पहले महीने से आप फुल मतलब आपके पूरे लेवल तक आप पढ़ सकते हो? ऑब्वियसली नॉट, बिकॉज आप पूरे 2 महीने में पूरा छुट्टी, मतलब यू आर हैप्पीली एंजॉयिंग योर लाइफ, गोइंग आउट, रोमिंग अराउंड, एंजॉयिंग योर सोशल लाइफ, राइट? सेम थिंग हैपेंस इन एमएस. अगर आप बीटेक के बाद 2 साल काम करोगे, व्हिच बेसिकली मींस यू आर आउट ऑफ असाइनमेंट्स, आउट ऑफ योर ग्रेड्स, आउट ऑफ योर ये जनरेट नहीं होगा आपके पास, मतलब असाइनमेंट सबमिट करना है, डेडलाइंस तो होगा कंपनी में, बट इट्स नॉट लाइक एवरी सिंगल डे यू हैव टू कीप स्टडीइंग, एवरी सिंगल डे यू हैव टू कीप डूइंग. इट्स नॉट द वे. सैटरडे संडे हो गया, आपका ऑफ होगा, you can go out, club and party, you can just hang out around with your friends as well. But after 2 years, if you want to shift back to your studying career back again, it's not going to be an easy task. Because after leaving out all that social life, all that community with which you are hanging out around whenever you feel to, will not be the same when you go back to your MS, because you'll have to again revisit your assignments, you have to follow your deadlines, run behind your faculties to get your papers checked. There's a lot of havoc process. So if you complete a complete phase at once, that's the studying phase. After your BTech, you completely do your MS. I know it's going to be a burden because you might not have enough savings to maybe go on. 70 to 80 lakhs is actually a bigger one, but still, if you're able to manage the 2 years also properly from the third year, which is not even the third year, once after your second year completes, within the third year completes, you can complete out all your debts if you're earning really good into some good company. Max to max is 2 years if you're earning good. So after 2 years, it's completely, your face is completely fixed into one corporate life. You can happily do that 8 to 5 job, and then the rest of the time enjoy with your family, and Saturday Sunday is off. your life goes into one particular phase. You need not to, go for one phase and then come back to the other phase. This is not something which human would like to do. They always would want to continue with one complete phase. They wouldn't love to, change back to a different phase. Same goes with Monday as well. Saturday, Sunday आप बहुत मस्त chill करते हो, फिर Monday आ जाते हो पढ़ने के लिए, लिखने के लिए. It's not going to be an easy task. So that's how things would work. So best, according to me, is once you complete your BTech, complete your studying career at once, and then go for your earning time.
तो तेरा लॉन्ग टर्म गोल क्या है और तेरा लॉन्ग टर्म गोल में एमएस कैसे बेनिफिट कर रहा है तेरे को?
राइट, एक इंसान का पहला गोल ये होता है स्टेबिलिटी. You wouldn't love to go.
सबका नहीं हो सकता, बट सबका अपना अपना
होता है. But according to me, it was stability.
Yeah, majority of the Indians का
stability होता है, because parents would want you to, be stabilized in some proper place. You need to keep on going to one place or the other. So same, in my case, I wanted stability. So if you think like if a company has one MS employee and two BTech employees, one MS employee would be equal to two BTech employees, because you would have that more of sort of knowledge and that sort of exposure, which for example maybe some recession sort of thing comes in, and the company would for sure think about removing more number of employees, right? So obviously when one MS employee can take care of two BTech employees, for sure they would fire out those two BTech employees and keep more burden on MS employee. So obviously he does not have an option, because he has a family, so he has to work. So he will take on the burden and he will think for the easiest way to get that work done.
तो मतलब कि अगर हम एमएस करते हैं तो हमारी ग्रोथ बीटेक वाले से ज्यादा होगी. तो
समटाइम्स
तेरे को ऐसा नहीं लगता कि अगर कोई बंदा बीटेक कर रहा है उसके बाद जॉब करने लगा, जब वो जॉब कर रहा है 2 साल वो जॉब कर रहा है, 2 साल तो एमएस कर रहा है, तो 2 साल में वो उस लेवल तक ग्रो नहीं कर पाएगा क्या जिस लेवल तक तेरी जॉब लगेगी?
हो सकता है there sometimes, but the probability when you calculate the probability immediately once after you're doing your MS into a proper reputed college, you get into some really good company, you can start earning. So it's most likely that the probability of you graduating out of MS college and getting a good job is higher as compared to the person after graduating BTech 2 साल में उसका जितना भी growth होगा, it won't be, I mean according to me, maybe there is a slight chances it might be equal, but most likely not, because look, if you get into a company, there's a 6 months of training period where they will be analyzing you, how you're doing work and how you're interacting with your teammates, with your colleagues, and that's how this first 6 months runs. And the next 6 months is you will take time to adjust with the environment and talk to your manager, the pressure, the environment. आराम से 6 महीने आपको हो जाएगा. अगले 1 साल होगा जो आपको performance evaluate करेंगे. But it is for sure within 1 year people won't know how much you're capable of. For sure, ना, क्योंकि भाई आप 1 साल में इतना क्या ही कर पाओगे? In a year of 365 days is hardly 200 to probably 250 days of working. बाकी सब almost 100 days you will do on Saturdays and Sundays, Vinay Chauthi, Diwali holidays, छुट्टी ये छुट्टी वो छुट्टी, hardly 250 days of working. उस 250 days of working में भी आपको 8 घंटे का ही काम मिलेगा. So that 8 hours of work, how much can a person be evaluated on? आपको मिनिमम दो से लेकर 3 साल तक लगेगा आपको कि एक बंदे कैसे काम कर रहा है, प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन में कैसे काम कर रहा है, in a normal situation how is he able to work with the company with like 5 to 6 people around him, how is he able to work the peer pressure, ये सब कुछ एनालाइज करने में 2-3 साल तक लग जाएंगे, बट तब तक हमारा एमएसपी खत्म हो जाएगा and our 1 year of complete debt will be over and we would have started earning in a decent amount.
तो हमें एमएस करने के लिए 70-80 लाख रुपए लगते हैं. अगर किसी बंदे को एमएस या एमटेक करना है तो क्या वो ऐसा कर सकता है कि फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन के कारण एमटेक करे और जिस लेवल पे ग्रोथ एमएस वाले बंदे की होगी उसी लेवल पे ग्रोथ एमटेक वाले बंदे की भी? इज इट पॉसिबल इन दैट वे?
Maybe you can't really guarantee that point क्योंकि देखो MTech जो होगा you're doing it within India, but that again has, अगर आप MTech एक अच्छे reputed colleges में, maybe let's take for example IITs or NITs or some reputed private colleges, if you get your MTech done from there, maybe there is a slight chance that you can equate the earning of what an MS graduate would do. But when you compare, always there's a lot of MNCs back in USA as compared to India, right? You could see the GDP rate as well. I mean, in most of the ways, still India is a developing country, whereas US is already a developed one. So the chances of earning in a developed country would be comparatively more as compared to a developing state, right? Because it's still technology being developed, AI, quantum physics, everything is coming into India slowly. It's not fully fledged. But back in USA, you have AI almost in a good level developed as well, and even in the quantum, they're exploring really a lot. So there's a lot of opportunities that you can get back in USA and then back in a developed country as compared to a developing one. So it goes on like that.
तो तू एकेडमिक्स से क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है, मतलब एमएस का करिकुलम क्या होगा, वहां पे जाके तेरे को क्या पढ़ाया जाएगा जो इंडिया में नहीं पढ़ाया जा सकता, या इंडिया के करिकुलम में वो चीज अभी तक अडेप्ट नहीं की गई है जो बाहर लोगों ने अडेप्ट कर ली है और जिससे वहां पे लोगों की ग्रोथ ज्यादा हो रही है?
Well, I think back in India it's more like a bookish knowledge. आपको पूरा जो भी बुक में है वही पढ़ाया जाता है, and they keep on recurring that. It's like a recurrent process over and over again. But back in USA, it's not completely based on theoretical curriculum. You have a lot of labs set up. You have a lot of professors. You can go out and explore the community. You won't be compelled to sit into one single room and work there. You would have opportunities to move around, interact around with a lot of people, and get to know about the real-time technology and implement them into your project works. But here it's not like that. Whatever is there in your book, you implement that, and you have to get it done. You can't think of something.
स्पेसिफिकली एमएस का करिकुलम क्या होगा, मतलब अगर तू जाएगा अमेरिका में, जाएगा किसी अच्छे कॉलेज में एडमिशन लेगा, तो वहां पे तेरे को पढ़ना क्या रहेगा, 2 साल में तेरे को क्या क्या कंप्लीट करना पड़ेगा ताकि तेरे को एक डिग्री मिल जाए?
Right.
और थोड़ा जॉब के बारे में बताना, क्योंकि जॉब कैसे लेगा तू, क्योंकि मैंने ऐसा सुना है कि वहां पे कैंपस प्लेसमेंट नहीं होता है।
Exactly, absolutely. So, talking about the curriculum back in USA, you would have, it's gonna be a 2 years course, but you will have to complete all your credits by 1 year and 6 months. So basically 1.5 years, and बाकी जो भी time रहेगा आपका, you will have to focus on your searching of placements. Right. So the curriculum would be pretty much similar, like almost you got to study DSA, DBMS, but if you're taking specialization in specifically in artificial intelligence, you'll have to dig more deep. You will have a vast more subjects like data analytics, a bit more digging into a bit more into AI, like mathematical concepts and data analysis. How would you analyze the data sets? All the things into a deeper core concepts with what we'll be learning in MS. Now, how would you be searching for a job is something which is difficult because it's not like India where companies come and hire you in mass and they take you. You have to go to different companies and try applying for that. It's gonna be a very difficult task, but until and unless you have good professors in your hand, it's not gonna be difficult. If your professors know what you're capable of, what you can do for that company, what you can do for a firm, they will for sure recommend you for some companies. They will give you an LO, a letter of recommendation stating that this person has done so and so work under me. He would be more and more capable for doing work in your firm as well. So that would be something which would help an MS graduate to grab up a good job, a better job into a better company.
और एमएस के बाद कौन कौन से जॉब रोल के लिए तू एलिजिबल होगा?
Well, anything. Well, since I'm focusing completely on an AI-based field, I would be.
तो रिसर्च में तू फोकस कर रहा है या फिर?
No, I'm not an R&D person because I don't want to do a lot of research because my passion is all about a slight innovation, but a more of implementing tasks which is sort of challenging to me. Well, research and development is something which takes a lot of time to implement something and to get something approved, which is not really my task. I'm very much into that. The reason why I'm publishing this research papers is because I was interested in deep learning concepts, and that's the reason I wanted to dig in a bit deep. So I have did the amount as I wanted. So I'm done. I do not want to go a bit more deeper because if you keep digging deeper, you will get a lot of problems, and with a lot of problems, it's a lot of efforts, a lot of time. So you won't be able to waste a lot of time after your MS is done. You need to start earning because you'll be around 26 to 27. Then you need to be a breadwinner for your family. You can't keep yourself, keep on studying more and more, and you can't waste your time of not earning money. You have to, for sure, maybe at the age of 26, 27 to 28 is max. You have to stop maybe studying and you have to start earning. You have to look for some earning sources. So for me, R&D is not something that I'm looking for. I would look for some sort of corporate life, and then what I'm planning is maybe I'll work for 10 years in the corporate and learn about the technical aspects. And then probably I will do my MBA because I love,
After 10 years you will do MBA?
Yeah, because you need a good experience with the technical aspects. Because only then you will know how to lead a team. Because if you're getting an experience of 10 years working with your teammates and with your colleagues, you will have good amount of experiences. And MBA these days you can do it even like a part-time MBA, where you can be studying and you can attend your 9-time MBA colleges, and then you can get your graduates. You can graduate out from your MBA college, which will lead you to an ample number of openings because you're having technical knowledge as well as you're having managerial level knowledge. So if you combine both together, you will have openings to plenty lot of options around the market. Because obviously, when you're going and getting into a market, for sure there'll be like 7 to 10 people who will be around you competing for one single job. Now you need to be something out focused around. We should be out of them. You can't be seen. Okay, I'm also going with them. Just like just a bheed hota hai, like just flock of sheep going for just one job. It's gonna be like that. But when you want to stand out of those flock of sheep, you need to do something better. You need to do something cross domains. That's how things are being formed. You can't go on one single domain or one single concept. No, people are looking for two different combinations of two concepts. That's what people are looking. They want new trend. They want new things applied to their life.
आकाश हम थोड़ा सा और पीछे आते हैं.
Sure.
मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ, मेरे को कंप्लीट डिटेल जाननी है कि अगर किसी बंदे को एमएस में एडमिशन लेना है बाहर के कॉलेज में, तो उसको कौन सा एग्जाम देना होगा, क्या करना होगा, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज में क्या करना होगा, रिसर्च पेपर में क्या करना होगा, उसको कैसे कर सकते हैं. तो इसके बारे में तू अच्छे से टाइम लेके डिटेल में बता कि कोई बंदा कैसे घुसेगा एक टॉप नॉच कॉलेज में फॉर एमएस.
So talking about what you need or what sort of exams you're supposed to give. Look, as far as we, the 25 batch which is going to graduate and get into MS colleges, people are, I mean, the colleges are telling that GRE might be waived off or IELTS might be waived off, but we're not sure yet. But let's talk about the actual concepts, what you need to give to be eligible, just in sake of, for the sake of actually giving, you need to be prepared with all these exams. The first would be GRE. Which is basically will be testing you on the mathematical level and as well as the verbal level. It's English, your English proficiency as well as your mathematical concepts. It's basically about easy level around your 9 to 10 concepts जो भी maths होता है. You'll be tested based on that. So GRE will be one such exam which you will have to give. Preparation for maths is not really important. I mean, you could easily ace it off within 1-2 weeks. But for English, you will have to strive hard because you need to use high vocabulary. You need to have good writing skills as well. So GRE is one such exam which you will have to give to be eligible, and you need to get a good score. So GRE is out of 340. You need to have approximately in and around 315 to be eligible for a good college. And after that, maybe you have to give an IELTS or a TOEFL. TOEFL will be only restricted for USA alone. You can't give your TOEFL score maybe to Singapore or Canada, Canadian-based universities. So TOEFL is also, it's completely an English proficiency test where you'll have they'll be judging you on 4 concepts. One is your listening skills, your reading skills, and your speaking skills and your writing skills. So you'll have, I'm not sure about the TOEFL score, it's approximately 100 or 120, I'm not sure about that. But speaking about IELTS is also, it's the same thing as TOEFL. You'll have reading, speaking, listening, and writing skills. You will be evaluated out of these all 4, and you'll have to score a band of approx 7 to 7.5 in order to get into a good college. So the eligibility criteria is minimum. That is, you need to have an IELTS score with you, or IELTS or a TOEFL score, and a GRE score with you, as far as if the GRE is not waived off for the college that you're aiming for. Now, that's about the minimum eligibility criteria. Now, talking about the research papers, what sort of research papers you need to do and what should be your
once again, इन एग्जाम्स की टाइमलाइन क्या होती है? जैसे तू 2025 में ग्रेजुएट होगा, तो ये एग्जाम देगा कब?
Right. So, if you are planning for a 2025 intake, GRE is approximately 5 years term. So, if you write GRE in 2024, it will be valid till 2029. So, you can get into any college between these two using your GRE scores. Whereas IELTS, it's only valid for 2 years. So, if you're writing somewhere in 2024, you got to get into a college by 2026. If not, then again you gotta re-give the exam. And unlike the Indian-based exams like JEE Mains, you do not have fixed time that you have only this fixed date and you have to come and write this. It's flexible slots. You can come and write or give an exam whenever you want to. Like, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm willing to take maybe within the next 1 week, I'm fully prepared and I want to take the exam next 1 week, I can book a slot like that in your comfortable timings as well, from 1 to 5 or maybe in the evenings, in the mornings, in the afternoon, whenever you're comfortable with, you can go out with the exams. So it's most better that if you're graduating around 2025 May, you gotta get your examinations, your LORs or your SOPs done by the end of August. The previous year August, basically 2024 August, which I'm currently trying to aim to complete my GRE. I've given my GRE, aiming for completing my IELTS, and I have my research papers all that published. That's how you would be aiming for. So 2024 mid would be your target to complete all your formalities that is required, all the documents that you are required. You have to get all your documents by the end of August, no matter what. So that's how the admission, you would have to be fixing your targets for getting into a good college. So as coming back to your previous question about once after GRE and etc., then focusing about the extracurricular activities is about the research. So when you're publishing some research papers, it should be something related to your own domain. Because if you want to pursue something related to an artificial intelligence or deep learning, you got to publish something in the same domain, which will attract that university towards you. That this so-and-so person has been doing research since second year itself. So we can understand his capability of how well he's into this domain. So by that, the college will be attracted towards us and they will immediately take us into the college. The probability will be higher because back in USA, even for one single seat, approximately 5 to 6 people compete. So obviously, from standing out from the 6 people who are applying for the same seat, if you want to stand out, you got to be good at your extracurricular activities, as I mentioned, the research papers or the book chapters or patents that you have to file on. that would be something that would add on value to your resume or your SOP that you'll be sending them. So sometimes people say that a single paper won't decide your life or your career, but it does. Because for MS, they'll just see a sheet of paper of you, which is approximately 1,000 words, basically whatever you have achieved in your career or in your BTech lifetime. That's what they'll be looking for in this 1,000 page, 1,000 words, which is basically approximately 2 page letter. I mean, the form that they'll be looking at, they'll be reading through, and they'll understand what you're capable of and what you will be helpful to their knowledge. That's how it is.
एमटेक इन इंडिया एंड एमएस इन यूएसए, राइट? दोनों में दोनों स्टूडेंट्स की लाइफ स्टाइल में क्या डिफरेंस रहेगा? एमएस अगर कोई बंदा यूएसए से कर रहा है और कोई बंदा एमटेक कर रहा है इंडिया से, वो किस तरह की लाइफ स्टाइल जिएगा वो 2 साल के
देखो
लिए?
एमटेक का look, even if you want to get into an MTech college, there's nothing much you have to only GATE examination. You not be some a good excellent student in your with your research or extracurricular activities. Not really. You just have to clear out GATE with some really good scores, exceptional scores, and you can get into some colleges as I mentioned, IITs or IITs. But as far as MS, you have to be good at extracurricular activities. That's what they'll be focusing on. And by this, you can understand what India is focusing on is completely theoretical based environment. So you won't be able to get in touch with the people who are extremely innovative than you. Like maybe a different community or the people with different mindsets. Back in India, people are completely, it's evolving now. We can't say they're stuck, but it's evolving slowly that people are coming out of the bookish knowledge and they're trying to, move out in the environment and trying to find out the solutions for that. Well, it is fast enough, but to get it implemented, it's late. Because if you want to implement some technology back in India, it takes some time. But back in US, it's maybe slightly a bit lesser as compared to what India is facing through. You can implement things much faster because for innovative ideas or you get people from different communities, your exposure increases. That's one thing which is most important. When you're interacting with many people or many communities, your exposure with their language, their culture, the way of their style, their style of living, you can adapt. If you're good with that, you can adapt to their lifestyle as well. So the main major differences which I would personally see is the exposure to different sort of people, different sort of communities or traditions is what I think would be the major impact or the major differences between a graduate from a person who's been graduated doing an MS and